everyone, it's Becca. I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and say that I think these Advent videos are great. So today's passage is taken from Luke chapter 1 verses 57 to 66. So I'm going to read the passage. When it was time for Elizabeth to have her baby, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown her great mercy, and they shared her joy. On the 8th day, they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him after his father Zachariah. But his mother spoke up and said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "There is no one among your relatives who has that name." They made signs to his father to find out what he would like to name the child. He asked for a writing tablet, and to everyone's astonishment, he wrote, "His name is John." Immediately his mouth was set open, and his tongue set free, and he began to speak, praising God. All the neighbors were filled with awe, and throughout the hill country of Judea, people were talking about all these things. Everyone who heard this wondered about it, asking, "What then is this child going to be?" For the Lord's hand was with him. So I personally like this passage because I think it talks a lot about humility. In the Old Testament, naming someone was a big deal for two reasons. Naming it showed control or dominance over that person. For example, Adam naming the animals in the Garden of Eden, or God changing Abram's name to Abraham, or Saul's name to Paul. So when Zachariah said that he was going to name this child John, he was ultimately saying that he was giving this child up to God. He was not in control of his child. His child belonged to God. And secondly, in the olden days, it was a father's right and privilege to name his child, and essentially the child would then carry on the family name. But here, it's interesting that Zachariah, he lays down his pride basically, and he says that the child was not going to carry on his name. And then what's really miraculous is that after Zachariah said this, his mouth was immediately opened, and through him praising God, the whole village came to know about this and was amazed at what had happened. And I think that's the point that we should learn during this season, that it's not about us, it's about Jesus being born on this earth, purely out of God's love, because we did nothing to deserve his love, and we can do nothing to deserve it. He gave it to us unconditionally because he loves us and we're his children. So when we're going around, during the season, donating to various charities and doing all these good deeds, I think it means nothing if our heart's not in the right place. If we do all these acts of charity simply to make ourselves feel better, then we're making this season about us and not about God, and that's wrong. But I think if we humble ourselves and really take time to remember what the season is truly about, it's about God being born in a lowly manger. He humbled himself. He was born in a place where pigs were born, and he came to save us, and we did nothing to deserve that. And so I think that if we go around spreading this message, then I think others will come to see God's love through our humility and our humbleness, and I think that's the point of this season. And so that's basically all I wanted to say. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year ahead of you. Thanks.